It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Wales' oldest brewery. This is a beer from Felinfoel. It's their IPA. A relatively new IPA that's... I've seen it crop up in a few bars. Especially, I seen it when I was in Newport, doing the craft beer in Newport. If some of you might remember rightly, I was in the Carpenter's Arms and I ordered a pint of Paul and a Weiss beer. Next to that, or somewhere along that kind of bar, there was Felinfoel's IPA. So I'm interested to try this. I picked it up in Tesco. About £1.80 a bottle, 4% ABV, blue bottle cap, 500ml bottle, brown bottle glass. Let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening, beer in the glass then. Now, these guys got a really interesting history, Felinfoel, a really interesting history. And they've got a real good kind of stranglehold. If you go away on holiday down to West Wales, you will see lots of Felinfoel pubs. You'll see lots of Felinfoel Double Dragon Ale. That is their flagship beer. That is what you will find if you travel to West Wales on holiday. Big strangled hold around the kind of Tenby area. I went to a place called St Florence, little town called St Florence, and there was a pub there on the left hand side as I walked into the village, and it just Felinfoel everywhere, and everybody was drinking it. So Wales' oldest brewery. Plus the other thing that's interesting about Felinfoel is that they were the first people in the world, the first brewery in the world to can beer. So if you search through the history books, Felinfoel, first brewery in the world to can beer. Really interesting brewery. So what do we have? We have good levels of carbonation. We have a 1 finger white head. Nice light golden amber coloured beer. You see the condensation on the glass. The beer's been out the fridge about 15 minutes. There's no sediment. It's not a bottle conditioned beer. It's been filtered out. Let's get the aroma on this golden amber coloured IPA. Smells quite nice actually. It's got the aroma of, say, a Shepherd Neame IPA or a Badger IPA or something like a Green King IPA. That kind of regional brewery. Quite safe IPA. 4% ABV. Some of you might be thinking IPA is not 4%. IPA is generally from kind of 6% up. That's the American style IPA. So maybe if I'm being slightly critical, maybe they could have called it a session IPA. It's lemony, it's a little bit spicy, peppery, a little bit of kind of malt character coming through. But then again, touching on that kind of session IPA theme just for a moment, they're old school brewers. They're not really looking at relatively new styles. I mean, when I say relatively new, I'm talking about the last 20 years. These older school breweries, they look into their kind of distant past. They're so old, some of these breweries, that 20 years is they're not going to look what's happened in the last 20 years. They just don't. They're like car manufacturers. Tesla had a free reign for a number of years producing battery-powered cars. The old car manufacturers, they move like dinosaurs. But when they choose to move, they move very quickly and they move very fast. But they take a long time to get going. They're all producing battery-powered cars anyway. But we're not here to talk about battery-powered cars, we're here to talk about beer. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's interesting because it's really tinny. It's really metallic. Core. It's got some nice hop profiles on the back end. It's spicy and peppery and kind of, it's got a nice fruitiness. Fuggles and Goldings probably used to hop it. But it's so metallic. It's so tinny. It's like half of the, you know, the old saying was somebody's dropped a couple of copper pennies in your pint and you get that kind of coppery metallic taste. This is like somebody's filled half the glass with old pennies and you get a real astringent, metallic, bitter taste on the back end. It's a bit of a shame, really. It really is. I mean, what possessed them to bring out a new beer? Felinfoel IPA, you know, we're going to produce an IPA, and they just like, I mean, they've gone to the hassle of putting it into Tesco's in bottle, and it's in Newport, which is kind of the other side of Wales. Perhaps it tastes better on cask. Perhaps cask or keg, perhaps it tastes better, but this is bordering on undrinkable. It's such a shame. Now, some of you might, I'm pretty sure companies like Shepherd Neame, who are almost famous for these kind of metallic, coppery kind of metal tasting beers, especially in bottle, I'm pretty sure if you liked a bottle of Spitfire, then you'll probably like this. It's very similar. It's very metallic, but this is even kind of higher. It's almost, well, first and foremost, it's a shame. It's a real shame because Felinfoel, as I mentioned earlier, they've got such a grip, if you like, on the West Wales beer scene. Lots of pubs selling their beers, lots of country pubs selling their beers. And if they nailed this, if they got this right, then they could probably have built something really solid and really good here. Because let's not forget, West Wales is, in the summertime, Tenby area, some Florence, all those kind of picturesque areas of Wales. Lots of people come from over the border. Lots of people come from Scotland and Ireland and England to hit South Wales. And of course, these people understand beer. These people know beer. Perhaps they've been drinking Beavertown, or they've been drinking Magic Rock, or they've been drinking Brewdog for the last few years. And they kind of get it, you know, they get what they want to drink. They get this kind of newer world style of beer. Whereas this was the opportunity for Felinfoel to get it right. This was the opportunity to go, let's produce something decent, and maybe these people will go back home after their holiday and at least Google search the brewery, or at least buy some of our beer. Fantastic opportunity this for Felinfoel, and I just feel like they've dropped the ball. I've liked their beers in the past. I like Double Dragon. If I'm in a pub, in fact, I'm going on holiday relatively soon to Tenby for a week, I will probably visit some Florence. I'll visit some of these country pubs in Tenby, and I'll drink Double Dragon quite happily. It's a decent pint. The stout is decent as well. Felinfoel stout, but if you can find that, that's a pretty decent pint. They could have really cemented, Felinfoel could have really cemented their place in beer, in becoming the oldest brewery in Wales, probably one of the largest breweries in Wales. But they've just dropped the ball here. It's way too metallic. It's way too tinny. You get a little bit of biscuit malt coming through, light kind of wafer malts. Then the metallic flavours come through. But the trouble is, when you're getting that metallic flavour, it rolls into a kind of an astringent bitterness. Whether this is just bottle, whether the cask or keg version is a lot better than this. You have your fingers crossed. But the bottle version of this needs redoing. It needs re-looking at least. Such a shame. Such a shame. The golden colour and smooth flavour gives this IPA its key characteristics. A beautiful light medium bodied beer with some caramelised malt and balanced bittering hops. A drink to be savoured. And then it says the same in Welsh. They're based in Llanelli, South Wales. It's just a real shame, really. They've been brewing beer since 1878. Again, and it goes back to this kind of like, what is an IPA to these older brewers? And I just think they've gone to the supermarket, they've drunk some Shepherd Neame, they've drunk some Green King, they've drunk some other regional breweries' beers, and they've gone, you know what, we're going to do something very similar. I'm afraid to say they've got it all wrong. It's almost, this bottle is almost bordering undrinkable. It's a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.